is prioritized by the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. Following the release of the final list of 4 contestants in the August race, the law dictates that all the 4 candidates and their running mates receive state protection for the period between June 8th until the elections is concluded.
After a lengthy process of vetting the more than 50 Kenyans who showed interest in running for presidency, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission (IEBC) has released the final 4 candidates whose names and faces will appear on the August 9th ballot paper. The presidential ballot paper, bearing the names of Raila Odinga, William Ruto, David Wahiga and Professor George Wajakoya, will be the shortest presidential ballot paper in the history of the country's elections since the return of multi-partyism in 1992.
Down from the 54 candidates who showed interest in this year's general elections, only 18 were shortlisted, and from those, just 4 of them ticked all the boxes to make it to Chebukati's final list.
So what perks come with being on the presidential ballot, and what does the law have to say for Kenyans who enter the much-desired race? Charles Kanjama is a renowned constitutional lawyer in Nairobi.
And because during elections you go into, even you could call it hostile political territory, you engage in a lot of activities that involve the public, and there's a lot of mischief also that goes on from opponents. It is a security risk if you are not careful about your own security, and it is possible for some candidates to find that their life has been seriously threatened, their health.
According to Kenya Constitution of 2010, the successful completion of the August 9th general election is heavily dependent on the 4 candidates and their running mates remaining alive and well until a winner is declared and sworn into office.
And so it is in the interest of the government that once you become a presidential candidate or deputy president candidate, they provide you security, because your being alive is critical for the country to transition.
Under Article 138, Clause 8 of the 2010 Constitution, the elections will be cancelled if, among other reasons, any of the 4 contenders or their running mates passes on before the election is concluded.
And in that case, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission (IEBC) will order a fresh election within 60 days.
And if a president-elect dies after the election but before being sworn in, then the election results will be suspended and you'll have a new election within 60 days.
Due to the large amount of resources that the country has invested in this year's general elections, the government will invest in reinforced security and safety of presidential candidates and their running mates, whose well-being between now and August 9th will determine whether the election exercise will be conducted or not. Starting June 8th, Odinga, Ruto, Wahiga and Wajakoya, as well as their running mates, will receive at least 10 police officers to protect them at all times.
From the 10 security officers, 2 officers will man the homes of the candidates and their running mates, both in their city and rural residences, for 24 hours a day. Then 5 officers will trail and follow these candidates and their running mates wherever they go at all times.
The moment you become a presidential candidate or running mate, the security services provide you with security the same way they provide important state officers with security, because you become technically like a state officer. In fact, there are state officers who will die and their death will not have an impact on the country, the way a presidential candidate's death will have an impact on the country.
With the stiff competition that marks the country's election processes, running for political office in Kenya can be dangerous, and not just for presidential aspirants. Recently, Kisii politician Thomas Okari was found dead with stab wounds at his home in Kisii County near Lake Victoria. Azimio One Kenya flag bearer Raila Odinga recently also had his helicopter pelted with stones by supporters of his opponents in Eldoret, prompting a public apology from Deputy President William Ruto. Across the country, in Mombasa, United Democratic Alliance UDA member and local politician Ali Mwatsahu survived an attack when unknown gunmen sprayed his vehicle with bullets days before party primaries. Mwatau is running for Member of Parliament of Mvita, a hotly contested seat in the coastal city.
With taxpayers spending a whopping 44 billion shillings to hire the country's next government in August, the stakes have never been higher, and the security of the top contenders is now a matter of national security. Waris Kimathi, Look Up TV in Nairobi.